And welcome to Profile Pod TV. Welcome. Happy New Year, everybody. How's everyone doing out there? Double A here. I'll be your host of the evening once again. And wow, I'm so excited to be back on the podcast, man. It's been it seems like so long ago. It's only been 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks. I hope you had a great holiday season. I know I did. A lot of family time, a lot of food. I think I've gained over, I don't know, 15 pounds over all the food I consumed in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, it was a great holiday season, man. I hope you were able to spend time, quality time, however that looks like. I hope you were, you got to achieve joy and during the holiday season. And it's good to be back here. Wherever you're tuning in from, thank you for being here. If you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for being here. We already got all of some of you in the comment section. Welcome, Yibram, Gonzalez, Saul, Mercado, Pie Cruiser, my man. How are you? Happy New Year, everyone. And welcome to the show. We got a great show in store for you tonight, man. We got a gentleman who, he's got such a great story. He wears a master of many hats. I don't know how he does it, man. I know he's a busy man, and we're excited to have him on. Before we bring him on, though, let me go ahead and do a couple things here. As you know, I like to say a couple things. I do the shout outs, kind of give you some information, announcements, or what have you. But yeah, lots of things are happening here at Profile Pod TV. We're gonna be moving to a different format in the near future, where I'm gonna have a quote unquote studio and have the in person, have my guest in studio with me. So we'll be face to face, and we're going to do the best we can with that, obviously with the whole COVID thing and stuff like that. So, but that we're going to be moving in that direction. So stay tuned for that. For now, we're going to be here on this format, which is fine too. But I'm just we're gonna be we're making some changes. So we're making some changes, but it's exciting. It's exciting, and think we're growing, and just a lot going on. So like I said, stay tuned. We got a great January in store for everyone, man. We're starting off tonight with my man Morrison Machiavelli, and then we got next week with another great musician. We got a model coming in out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and then another musician. Man, it's going to be a musical, artsy month to kick off 2021. It's going to be a beautiful year, man. So if this is how we're going to start 2021, then it's a great sign. It's a great sign, right? Real quick, shout out to Alexander Orozco, the Hood Foodie. My man is battling some health issues right now. Prayers up for him. Get well soon, brother. And big shout out to you, man, the Hood Foodie, who, along with 818 Insider, we organized and held the toy drive last week, or December 21st now, almost 2 weeks ago, as of yesterday. They had the toy drive in Sherman Oaks, California, in the San Fernando Valley. Super great event. Just honored to be a part of that, and you guys can check out the footage on that on my Instagram on Profile Pod TV. Check that out. Lots of good things. Children got blessed over the holidays with toys, and so that was really a blessing to be a part of, man. So big shout out to those guys. Also big shout out to Fidel Avendaño of Talking Again podcast, and my man Eddie Aguirre of Social Primates podcast. Check out the episode. I was a guest on each one of those two, and a great experience with those guys. Those guys run a great podcast, so I was really honored to be part of those guys, to be a guest, and honored to be a part of those podcasts. So check those out as soon as you get a chance, man. And I think you won't be disappointed. I've only done a few guest appearances on other podcasts, so I'm a kind of a rookie in that area. But nonetheless, they were fun, man. I learned great learning experiences, and those guys are, they do what they do very well. Very professional, man. Those guys are just top notch. So big shout out to Talking Again podcast, Social Primates. Check them out if you guys are looking for a good podcast to listen to. You won't be disappointed. So let's get into tonight's guest, man. Let's get to the nitty gritty here, because my man hails from Minneapolis, Minnesota. and now he's residing in Los Angeles. He's got, like I said, he's got a great story. He's a recording artist. He's a producer. He owns his own record label. Founding member of Casablanca Connect, and which is an organization we'll be talking about with him. We're gonna get to know his story. We're gonna get to know what he's all about, man. Because I'm really super curious. We've only had a few conversations leading up to tonight, so I'm gonna be learning all about Morrison, just like you guys are tonight. And without further ado, guys, let's bring on my man, Mr. Morrison Machiavelli, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, now in LA. Morrison,
Yo, what's up?
how are you, man? Welcome.
I'm doing very well. How are you today, eh?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm good, brother. Thank you so much for being here, man. For taking the time to come on my little podcast here, man. What's new with you, man? How was your holidays?
It was beautiful. Went down to Rosarita for the New Year and got to cleanse before we move into this new territory. Moving out of 2020, it's been a very challenging year. So I'm hoping this year will be different. I'm hoping on a note, within reflecting back on the context of people who are facing medical issues right now. Dr. Dre is having a brain aneurysm and he's in the hospital right now. So before we start, I want to give prayers to Dr. Dre as well on that note.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I just heard about that. Yeah, like everyone else, right? A couple, I don't know, like 2 hours ago or so, Morrison. But yeah, big shout out to Dr. Dre. Get well, and big prayers for him. Absolutely, man. But yeah, man. Again, man, I can't thank you enough for being here. You were down to Rosarito, Mexico, huh?
Yeah, drove down. I've been staying down in San Diego a lot throughout these holidays as well. It's just a little more open, little less. It feels like a better vibe during COVID time. So I've been bouncing in between LA and San Diego frequently.
Man, San Diego, man. Love San Diego, brother. Love San Diego, man. You know, it's like, there's never a bad day down there. You know, it's the weather stays beautiful 100% of the time, man.
Exactly. I mean, if it wasn't for the workflow, maybe I'd be down here a lot more. But the work is in LA, the money's in LA, and that's what it is.
Yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. And I mean, coming from Minneapolis, Minnesota yourself, man. You know what cold weather is. I know that. You
Yeah, I'm done
know.
with it. I divorce cold weather.
Oh man, speaking of Minneapolis, I had the I don't know if you're familiar with the Purple Preacher. He was a guest I had on here. He's out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and check him out, man. I don't know if you're familiar.
Most definitely. I will check them out. I haven't had the opportunity yet, but I do recall you mentioning the Purple Preacher as well in our previous discussion.
Oh yeah, man! Big shout out to him, man. He's all about Minnesota. He represents Minnesota. Big Laker fan, you know, and so yeah, man. Are you a Laker fan by any chance or anything like that? Because I coming from Minnesota.
I'm not deep into sports, but I hold it down for most of the home teams other than the Vikings because I can't associate myself with, that's a little their track record isn't meeting up. So I got to take the choice on that one.
I hear you, man. I hear you, man. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man. But yeah. So let's get right into it. You came out from Minneapolis, man, right? And what year did you come out to LA from out there?
2017.
Oh, 2000. Okay, so not too long ago, man.
No, I'm still pretty fresh. I've got my feet wet and I've been able to put myself in a good position here. And as you know, it came with some work, but over the last year, I've really found my place in Los Angeles and been able to start to spread my wings and move around a little bit.
Yeah, very cool, man. But so you came out in 2017. I was under the impression that you came out earlier than that. So wow, that's impressive because you've done so much already in such a short period of time here in LA. And now tell us when you came out, you lived out of your car.
Yeah.
For tell us about that, man. How long did you have to do that?
Yeah, so when I came out here, I came down here with around $600. I had blown a lot of money, I had spent a lot of money, and I had paid a lot of people for different positions in music, different things. So I was getting out of a different lifestyle, and I decided to come down here and just pursue music full time. I knew that the opportunity that I wanted was not in the Twin Cities. There's not really a market for it. Big ups and respect to all of the artists back in the Twin Cities doing amazing things. There's an amazing arts community there. But for me, I simply don't I don't see the fans. I don't see the community being stimulated by a strong support system other than just artists supporting each other, which is beautiful. It's great, and it makes great art. It's the best training ground I could ever have. But coming down to Los Angeles, it's something that I wanted to do for a very long time. Although when I came down, I didn't have the plan well articulated, but I knew what I needed to do. And I knew that I could make more money in Los Angeles, so it was just about getting down there. So I had a $600 pickup truck with 360,000 miles in it, Chevy pickup truck. Drove it down and lived in it for a year and a half. And for me, it wasn't what a lot of people may make it out to be. I don't really consider myself homeless within that time because I was comfortable. I became really comfortable really quickly. In the sense of I found my place of security. I actually stayed in Sherman Oaks. So I can say this now because I don't stay there, but my home was Michael Jackson's late estate. Apparently there used to be a building over there near the Galleria in Sherman Oaks, and they park a lot of vehicles around there. There's a little alleyway that goes off if you go right by the Galleria by 405 and what is that, the 170 or 405 and whatever that crossing intersection is where the Galleria is. And
101, I think it is.
Yeah, 101. Yeah, that's right. And I used to park right there because I could go into 24-hour fitness every night and every morning, hit the gym, shower, all that. So it was good for me. Within that time, I was able to really cleanse my mind and focus. A long period of sobriety. I didn't want to drink. I didn't want to smoke weed. I didn't want to do stuff like that when I'm living in my vehicle. I wanted to be sharp. Because of what potentially could be, in Sherman Oaks, you're generally safe, but anywhere, I mean, the craziest stuff happens to me in the places where I least expect it. So I'm always on point with that. But stayed there a year and a half. And for me, it's because I'm stubborn. I didn't want to, I'm not into renting. And yeah, I have an apartment now, I rent. But I'm more about ownership. I owned my own mobile home before I came down here. I ended up selling it. There was some redevelopment, so I was forced to sell it. I was going to rent it out or flip it, but I wasn't able to do that because of the redevelopment situation. So fast forward, being down here, I found a couple opportunities, and I was able to get started and make my way around.
Oh wow, man! So you would sleep in the bed of the truck?
I would sleep in the front. I would sleep in the front seat. So I actually had the driver's seat door panel pulled off because because the glass came out at one point. My cousin broke the glass on accident, and when he repaired the glass, or when he replaced the glass, he messed it up. So I took the door panel off. But what that did is it gave me the extra wiggle room. I was able to stretch my body out all the way, and I'm 5'11", so it's just perfect. But I mean, it was a solid fit. I've had some of the best nights of sleep in that vehicle, so it's Gucci.
Wow, interesting, man. And so when you actually decided to come out here, Morrison, from Minneapolis, were you expecting to live out of your vehicle for X amount of time, or was your plan to maybe look for an apartment? Like you said, you're stubborn. But what was your plan coming out?
My
as
plan
far as living situation.
My plan was to find the right apartment eventually. So I was not in a hurry to find an apartment. I planned to live in my vehicle. And I knew when I found the right apartment, I had to find a place where I could make music. I had to find a place where I could basically set up a home base. And I did that. I ended up finding a friend I could stay with. I rented a room from him for a while. The situation didn't work out within the roomie situation. He's still a good friend of mine. And I got my own studio apartment in Hollywood, and I've been there ever since. So I got a nice little low key spot right on the boulevard out there. So it's convenient, and it offers me the flexibility I need with the position that I'm in now, as far as where I need to travel within regular times, outside of this whole COVID situation. So it worked out well, and I'm glad that I made the decision with the way that I made it.
Right, man. And what type of work were you doing during this time for that year and a half?
So when I first got here, I was mostly focusing on the music stuff. I was really setting up bass,
Mm.
something that people in the Twin Cities know, and a lot of other people don't know, is I used to go by the name Excel. Morrison Machiavelli only came about within the last 2.5 years. So I've been cultivating this music and this new brand and this new identity in many ways, this new character throughout that time, and in many ways finding that character musically. Obviously, that's a different part of the discussion, but within that, I started out working with with what is it, a rental company. So like they rent out space. I was an assistant manager over there, moving up to manager, boom, boom, boom. And I found an opportunity working with a shoe designer. So I hopped up out of there and I went and worked with the shoe designer. He's an amazing, amazing character, amazing man. Ali Tabacoli. He taught me how to dance. He taught me salsa, and the man's a legend. So yeah, and he designs his own shoes. This man went from America, went to China and learned Chinese just to set up his own factory to develop dance shoes. So I learned a lot of entrepreneurial stuff
Wow.
and a lot of life things within that time. So I spent about a year working with him, living out of my vehicle. I didn't let him know. I think he caught on a little bit, but I was within my pride and just staying on my stuff. He was paying me cash, so I was able to kind of build up just as an independent contractor and start to put my things in line with my different businesses to be able to move appropriately.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No, I mean, what a demonstration of resiliency and determination, man. Big shout, a lot of props to you, man. A lot of props to you because, yeah, I mean, it seems like I mean, you were coming out here to pursue your dreams, man, and you were willing to sacrifice. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seemed like you were willing to sacrifice everything to make that happen, or to get that process started coming out here, man, and to that I think not a lot of people are willing to do that, man.
Yeah. Most definitely. I mean, I've been through it in life. So, I mean, I've been through all different junctions of life within my youth as well as within my adolescence, my young adult years. So it wasn't. I mean, for me, it's just switching up the environment a little bit. I could survive and thrive anywhere, but it's all about having the mind right and being able to move in the right direction consistently.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, you summed it up right there, brother. What was what did you learn about yourself throughout that whole experience, Morrison, during that time with living out of your car for the year and a half?
I think it's hard for me to attribute a lot to the experience of living in my vehicle. Um, I don't feel like that really developed and shaped me a lot because I have to look at that also in the lens of my coming of age, and like I matured a lot just within that time as a man. And I think that had a lot to do more so with growing and becoming older. Um, I feel like at a lot of junctions in life and a lot of places in life, I was moving in a lot of different directions and just kind of trickling off. And I wasn't able to concentrate this stream and be able to move effectively with that. So as of recent, within the last year and a half, I've really been able to focus all these different desires and these different entrepreneurial ventures, as well as my musical career. They all run parallel, and they complement each other. Rather than trying to do this entrepreneurial thing over here and then this music thing over here, and I'm gonna work with kids over here, and they're all separate. I wanted to be able to do everything in a way that would all complement each other. Some of the things that you've mentioned previously and beyond.
So you kind of wanted to intertwine everything. It sounds like
Well,
in a
yeah,
certain way.
I didn't want to pull my focus in different directions. It's not
Mhm.
so much that I want to I don't want to overlap the things. I want to
Okay.
make sure that they each have their space, but I also want to keep my mind and my direction very focused on my focal point. And if I've got one thing over here, one thing over here, I'm constantly turning my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I can hear you, man. I hear you. You could get you can get a vertigo almost, so you're getting turned around here, back and forth, and I've been
Yep.
there, man. Yeah, and a big shout out to Saul Mercado, man. He has a comment there. I don't know if you can read the comment there. It looks like you know Saul.
Oh, let me see. I can't see the comments.
Oh,
Let me hop up on here. Where's the comments at?
he's. I think he has a joke there.
Oh, I
He said
see. I see.
you came to California to smoke some marijuana, but it was still fire. So he's, yeah, I
I
don't
see the
know.
comments now. Yeah. What's good, y'all?
There you go. Big shout out to Saul Mercado um, with the joke there for Morrison Machiavelli.
Yeah, glad you peeped that. Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
I think he's quoting your lyrics there,
Yep,
right?
yep, it's the lyric. Yep.
Yep, yeah,
The
yeah.
track
So
Reason.
that's right, in which we'll talk about in a little bit here, man. So, what did you ever feel like you wanted to quit Morrison during this time, man? Like, did you ever just want to say, you know what, I'm just gonna go back home? You know, did anything like that ever occur in your mind?
Nah, not at all. Because the thing for me is, first and foremost, I made the decision. All right. So let me frame this a little bit with music. With my relationship with music,
Yeah,
I didn't want to really commercialize my music until I developed the character Morrison Machiavelli, and there was this rebirth because of that. I didn't care about it back in the day, so you got to think for the first like 7 years of me making music, I was making it for myself mostly. I appreciate that other people enjoyed it, but I was making music, and I didn't even care about the quality overall. I was making this music to perform it and share it with my community, and that was the most important thing to me. And my grandma used to, my family has always believed in me. They haven't always been the most supportive within like raising me in many ways. They've always loved me and they've always supported me morally. They've always stood behind me. Um, we didn't have a lot of finances and we didn't have a lot of things like that growing up, but like, you know, with love and morally, they always supported me and they always believed in me. I was the adult in many ways. But within that, when my grandma passed, one thing that she used to always say to me is she used to say, "I can't wait to hear your music on the radio." And I guess with that experience, as well as coming to terms with um, my maturity, I used to feel like a disdain for music. And I guess I just opened up my lens wider and really started to take in a lot more and realize I want to make music for other people. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to compromise my integrity or my artistic expression. So I made that pact when I started, and it was very easy for me to do because that's what I've always been doing. Is even though I'm commercializing my music and I'm pushing it out there for more people to hear, and I'm putting more effort into that, making sure that people hear this, I'm not going to compromise my integrity or my artistic expression and my artistic freedom for that. And that's the reason why I've maintained my independence in many ways
yeah.
to this point. That's not to say I will always be independent, but having that opportunity of independence and being able to cultivate myself independently, not only does it leverage a greater opportunity in the long term, but it's built me to understand the big picture. And I'm glad, you know, I am where I am now and not where I was at 22 years old, because I could be one of these cats who really went up and went down, and you know, everything that comes with that is not what I want out of life. So, you know,
Wow,
that's it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. No, that's unbelievable, man. If you from a personal standpoint, man, to me, that's just like incredible, man. What you did, you
Thank
know,
you.
just yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. Um, so where does your love for music come from, man? Do you have a musical family? Is it something that came on later on in your life, or I mean, does it go back to when you were a school age kid? You know, I mean, where does that come from? Your love for music?
So I've always had a love for music, and I remember my mom used to play a lot of like Journey and Ozzy Osbourne music like that.
Oh yeah,
Hip hop caught on with me. I think I was like 5 or 6, and Keenan and Kel came on. You know, Coolio did the theme song.
this is
That
we're talking mid '90s, I think, right? Late
Yeah, we're
'90s.
talking mid '90s, and I was born in
Yeah.
'91.
Oh.
I'm an early '90s baby. So like when that hit, like when Coolio hit, I remember being a kid jumping up and down, and I remember grabbing a microphone, and I'm talking like small, confirmed by my mom. She recollects this, and I have pictures. Like I used to dance around with the microphone when Keenan and Kel came on, and that was like my first introduction to hip hop. So like many people from my era, we were making mixtapes out of TDK cassette tapes and all that. And I just grew into it. I mean, I started making music, I guess, when I was 13, playing guitar and singing. And I would make some like I would make some rap songs like rhyming words and trying to come up with these super lyrical miracle type moves. But at the end of the day, I was just doing it as a form of expression. As I explained earlier within the evolution, it only became something that I was super serious about in this way at that point. But even within all that, I always wanted to know the business, and I always wanted to be able to cultivate the business aspect of it, because I realized we're in a world of so many billion people where even if you're just making it for the love, you can make a career out of it and you can make a life out of it. Even though I'm trying to do bigger things now and reach a wider market of people, my goal back in the day was like 100,000 fans. And that's, you know, that's like, if you're making music and you're consistent and you have skills and talent and you make quality product, 100,000 is not a lot. That's, you know, that's not the sky. So if that's your ceiling, then it is what it is. There's no problem with that. But you know, at the time, that's what it was.
No, I hear you. Yeah, of course, man. And you know what, man? And speaking of Minneapolis, you come from Minneapolis, Minnesota, man. I mean, the land of Prince. You know, the home of Prince and Morris Day and the time and that whole, you know, that entire movement. I mean, needless to say, if there's, you know, I think that in and of itself is could be a serious influence for anyone in from your part of town, from your where you come from, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Was Prince in anything? Did he have anything to do with that influence for you?
Prince didn't really have an influence on me, to be completely honest, especially not within my youth. I can say now he does. And I honestly only really got into Prince or started to even look into Prince when the Chappelle Show came out. Before that, I didn't really know his music like that. I kind of knew who he was, but I didn't really know his songs. But when Chappelle Show came out and I saw the skit, I started to realize the mystique, and that was very alluring. I mean, I was very deep into Jim Morrison and a lot of stuff like that. That's where Morrison comes from within Morrison Machiavelli. So with that,
gotcha.
You know, I had to. I really respected the impact culturally that Prince made, the statements that he made as an artist, and the independence that he held himself and that he encouraged others to capture.
Yeah, for sure, man. No, I'm a little bit older than you, man. So yeah, I mean, I go way back with Prince. I'm talking Purple Rain. You know, we used to watch that movie on VHS over and over, and that entire soundtrack, man, is just like is one of like the anthems of my childhood. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Prince is one of the greatest of all time, right? And so, are you familiar with the artist Atmosphere?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm familiar with Atmosphere. Yeah, they're dope.
There's a question there from Pie Cruiser. Was Atmosphere an influence in music?
Yeah, Atmosphere was a huge influence. I won't say so. They weren't really. They didn't like draw me into hip hop. I was already listening to hip hop before that, but I was introduced first to Dino Spectrum, and I heard some of Dino Spectrum. People from the Twin Cities, if you can get back on Dino Spectrum, they're gems, man. I Self Divine is a beast. Gene Pool, Musab, and Slug from Atmosphere. But I actually really got into Atmosphere when I got a 1994 Punkorama tape, and I found it. I found it outside, and that introduced me to Atmosphere. And then I went in deep, and I got to know POS. Shout out Steph. And I got to know a lot of different people through that. I got to know Brother Ali and all of these artists from Twin Cities that are on the RSC roster. And then after that, I branched out into understanding or learning about a lot of the other artists that really, really have had a strong impact below the surface. I'm talking about cats like Muja Messiah, St. Paul Slim, incredible artists. And, you know, the peers that I'm with now, they're Twin Cities is amazing.
Oh yeah, man. It's I love that whole scene out there, man. It's like you mentioned, it's a lot of amazing artists coming out of there, and that community is really special out there, man. And something that you wanted to I'm sorry, can you name a few other early influences in music for Morrison coming up?
Yeah, most definitely. So Black Thought was an early influence. I guess Black Thought was a later influence. He's my favorite MC now, so that's when I think of hip hop, I want to bring him up. But early influence, Muja Messiah is a big one. Mentioned him earlier, and you know, we're not. I know him. I can't say like we're close friends, but we got some stuff in store. And I'm fortunate enough to have crossed paths and been able to work with a lot of people who I looked up to. But locally, a lot of influences came through to me. But early influences, Red Hot Chili Peppers was big. First autobiography I ever read was Anthony Kiedis. Jim Morrison, as I said earlier, and The Doors of Perception, Aldous Huxley, Nikolai Machiavelli, Sigmund Freud. Not all musical, but just kind of laying out the pathwork for how my name came to be and how that helped to impact how I convey myself. And I guess a lot. Music played a big part on it, but music really did branch me off in a lot of different directions, philosophically and psychologically, which helped me become the person who I am.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, I'm glad you clarified your name. Well, I was wondering if Jim Morrison had anything to do, and my man, yeah, like Machiavelli, and sure enough, man, those are two amazing, you know, men that came through, and you know, Morris, obviously Jim Morrison, great poet, great singer, and artist, and you know, we all know about Jim Morrison. Um, how was that? Why did so? How did the name come about, man? With your Morrison Machiavelli, were those the two greatest influences of your life, or just kind of it kind of flowed? Or tell us a little bit about your name and how that came to be.
So really what it was is that's a good question. Thank you. So on the first tape I did, it was called Contraband back in 2009. I produced everything on it. I put the thing together in like 2 weeks. I had a bunch of raps already written, and first time ever producing, I hopped on some like 1 week trial of Mixcraft and took a bunch of samples. I wish I still had it. If anybody has that, please hook me up. I'll pay for it. But I had a line that was like Morrison Machiavelli the Dawn or something. I don't even remember the line exactly, but I remember that sticking with me throughout the years. And I was going by AWOL at that time, AWOL, and then later on going by Excel. And when I came to Cali, I knew that I was taking a more commercialized approach, and I know other Excels. I know King Excel with Zulu, the Zulu King Excel in Australia, and I know that there's a band Excel here in California who's made some waves and who already has a virtual presence. So there's the challenge of trying to virtually build yourself up with that name. So,
Chino XL, are you familiar with that?
I
Name?
don't, but they messed up my stuff because I was uploading music and it would be associated with them, and you know we're different people. So nothing against them personally, but
Right.
I was I had a sour taste in my mouth with that for a while. But yeah, so Morrison Machiavelli became. I was thinking about using it as a project name for a while, and I eventually just took it on as a character and took it on as who I am now.
Yeah, and then you know the first time I ever heard, you know, Machiavelli, or what we all know what Tupac did, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, in '97, with that album, the Don Illuminati, I think is yeah, that's the name of the album, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Illuminati, yeah. And so, anyways, but yeah, man, I thought that was kind of cool, and how you merged the two together, and it really flows well. I love your name, man, and
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, when you were XL, was that the letter X and L, or was it?
No, it was EXCEL. So it was on the premise of like moving forward and always pushing myself. You know, trying to be basically the person. You know, trying to represent who I was through that name, and you know what I wanted to do was always excel and always push forward. So you know, I'm glad that I had that stage in life, but you know, Excel's it's gone now.
Yeah, no. Hey, you got to evolve. You got to do what's best for yourself and your career, man. And yeah, I have a question. Z Boxing News has a question. What's your favorite Doors song and why?
That's a hard one. I mean,
it's hard to narrow it down, probably, right?
I like Riders on the Storm a lot. Ray Manzarek is incredible. The thing I like about the Doors is that all their members are so incredibly talented. Actually, with Jim Morrison being the least. With the personality and his writing, he evoked a lot of a lot of development with me and other people. Very thought-provoking work. However, I'm a huge fan of Ray Manzarek, obviously John Densmore, and just the whole band. But some of those lines with the keys, and then keeping in mind that he's doing all the bass as well. There's no bassist in the Doors. He's doing bass with one hand and keys on the other. So, you know, it's incredible, incredible.
Wow,
Accordion.
you know, I never thought of that, man. That's Manzarek, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's impressive. Gosh, that's great.
Beast.
Definitely, man. No, that's I love the Doors. Love the Doors, man. Absolutely. Uh, you know, nobody sounds like the Doors. You know, nobody
That's
sounds
true.
like the Doors. And some people say, yeah, their music, I think, technically is rather simple, right? I think technically, but like I said, you know, nobody sounds like them, man. And I don't know if you've seen that movie, The Doors, back in '91. I think
Yeah,
it came out in
yeah.
'91,
Val
the year you were
Kilmer.
born.
That's a Val Kilmer joint. Yep. That
Yeah,
was
did you ever
huge
see
for me.
that?
Yeah, yeah. I watched it all the time. Like that was really big for me. Um, you know, I just wanted this came to my mind, but I just want to say this. The closest thing to the Doors that we have now is the Mars Volta.
Oh my
And,
gosh,
and
love the
then
Mars Volta.
they sound so different, but that's the closest thing I could put up next to the Doors.
Gosh, that's a great comparison there, man. I like that. I like and gosh, I haven't heard of that term, the Mars Volta, in a while, man. A few years now. I need to go back and listen to their stuff, man.
Oh man.
Um, yeah. And real side, quick note. Back in '06, I went to go see Red Hot Chili Peppers, who you mentioned earlier,
Yep.
at the Forum in LA in Inglewood, and man, Mars Volta opened up for yeah, I almost said the Doors. They
Man.
opened up for Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I got there late. Man, I was stuck in traffic down the 110 and blah blah blah. And then I caught like the last song of the Mars Volta. Super disappointed, but anyways, man. But I did get to see Red Hot Chili Peppers and great show back in '06. Anyways, but yeah, man. So it's interesting, Morrison. You know how you kind of you've come along, man. You're still. I mean, the sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit for you. And so coming out of Minneapolis, man, what kind of kid were you, man? Were you athletic? Were you more artsy? Were you more of a scholar?
Nah, I mean, I got into English class, but I came up in a pretty good school. Like the high school I came up in was nice, Champlain Park. Uh, but I was on the outskirts. Like I was like I came out of the trailer park, so I felt out of place within my elementary, middle school, high school. So the way that I came up and the way that I really cemented my position, just within the social hierarchy was selling drugs and being a very knowledgeable drug dealer. And I say this obviously with it being past tense. I was that guy that you wanted to go to because he would tell you how to use things responsibly, and I tested everything.
Right.
So that was my thing in high school. I skateboarded. I was a skater, and of course, I mean, I was a connoisseur of women and all that. But that was it. That's all that I really did, and I didn't even care about academics until I hit like my senior year, and then it was time. And at that point, I don't know what happened, but I started to take a lot more interest in everything. And I'd wrap myself up with a lot of stuff. So I don't know what made me want to join the Marine Corps, but at some point when I was like 16, 17, I was like, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. I think the uniforms are cool. My grandpa did it. And I don't know. It just seemed like the most badass um, place to go if I'm going to go in one of those directions. So I did that, but I wasn't going to go. Marine Corps got me out of a lot of trouble. Not in the sense of like you go here or you go to jail, but like the recruiter, I had two different recruiters and they came with me to court 5 times. So it's like with that, man, I uh I dodged a lot of bullets and they helped me a lot. So I felt like I owed it to them at that point. So I went and I did my time there. I went in the Marine Corps. I went to Okinawa, Japan, spent 3 years there. That's where I learned to perform. That's where I met the team that I still have today. That's where I met. Shout out Jay Ice. Shout out Dr. L Beats, my one of my best friends and my producer who makes a lot of the songs that we've referenced and most of the music that I've been releasing in the last year. You know, the last like 4 albums and
Wow.
singles. So I mean, I cultivated some amazing friendships and all that. I wouldn't change it for the world, having had that experience. But you know, my youth was crazy, and I came up out of a crazy household, crazy past. My parents were drug addicts. My grandparents were alcoholics. And you know, they've grown since that. You know, I don't want to put them down. My mom is phenomenally sober for over 10 years. My dad's been sober for a while. He's doing great. So you know, they're amazing. I love my family, but times were tough coming up. So I've come a long way. They've come a long way, and it's beautiful to be where we are today and have these opportunities to get back and move forward. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. Matt, you were a Marine.
Yeah.
What the heck? I didn't. Damn,
Yeah, I did
I
that
didn't know that, man. I don't see that. Couldn't find that anywhere in your, you know. That's great, man. And so, yeah, I'm a fellow veteran myself. I was in the Navy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So that's cool. And you were in Okinawa?
Yep, I was in Okinawa for almost 3 years, like 2.5 years over there. Yeah, it was
Gosh,
cool.
man. What was your rank? How high did you get?
I got up to E3.
E3. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got in
Wow.
some trouble. I got busted down, but I got up to E3.
Oh, really? Did you go to captain's mast or?
Nah, not quite. I mean, I went to I had to go to the I had to go to the colonel. Yeah.
Oh,
No, but I didn't do anything crazy. You know, my thing in Okinawa was I was 20 years old and I loved women. That was my thing. So I didn't respect the curfew. I wasn't doing crazy stuff. I was out getting girls, you know, respectively. Respect all the queens worldwide. That's what I was doing. I was a young kid obsessed with that. And that was my thing all the time. And yeah, I drank, but I didn't do crazy stuff when I drank. It is what it is. It was what it was. A lot of crazy
hey.
stuff happened. But you know, I was going through stuff back then. I was going through. I was developing psychologically, and I think with the experience I had, in addition to the in addition to just the change in environment, the change in the atmosphere, and all that separation disorder and physical injuries and different things, it compounded and it created a very difficult situation.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, I mean, yeah, you were a young kid, man, 20-year-old. We've all been there, man. You know, and everybody has their own path, right? We all have our own story. We all have our own flaws. We all have pros and cons. You know, we went through adversity. We made mistakes. We're all human, man. That's what we do, right?
I
And
wouldn't change it. I mean, I got Japan stories that I'll tell you offline sometime for days. So I wouldn't change it. But it definitely it was an experience that I don't think most people who went to Okinawa can share. I don't think, man, a lot of people go through that island and not a lot of people take advantage of what's to offer. I'm gonna say that.
you know, that's one place I never got to visit is Japan, nor like the Philippines or we did a Westpac. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, Western. Yeah, right. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Westpac, and went out to Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, uh, Dubai. I was in Dubai, man, right in '96, right before they started the big boom. They started building everything over there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was there, man, during the Ramadan, which is like their holy season. You know,
Yep,
early February, I
fast.
think,
Yeah.
fasting and yeah. And then went to Hawaii. We were supposed to go to Australia, never went, but yeah, I never got to get out to Japan. Okinawa. What's the other big base out there?
Iwakuni.
Yeah, that one. There you go.
And they got Mount Fuji over there. There's a lot of little bases. I think Iwakuni and Okinawa. Okinawa's got like 4 bases on it. It's got the air base, and then it's got like 3 Marine Corps bases that are major bases. But yeah, there's a lot going on there for sure. They can't have military, you know what I mean? Treaty of World War II. So you got China there, and you have North Korea. So the thing I'm gonna say this: you're a fellow service member. So the thing that I didn't get. So I'm not pro government. I'm not pro military. Nothing like that, right? But the experience I had in Okinawa was the elders of the island would consistently tell us that they want us there, that they love having Americans there, because Okinawa is like the bastard child of Japan. Like you look at the way that Hawaii has been treated with America. It's similar to that. It's the poorest prefecture. It doesn't have a lot of government support. It's almost like Puerto Rico in America.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a prefecture. It's recognized just like we recognize states in that way. But World War II, the Okinawa was not part of Japan. Okinawans were separate, and Okinawans were being horribly brutalized, and just horrible stories that came out of that experience with Okinawans and Japanese. So when Americans came after World War II, as many of the elders see, they were liberated by the Americans. So it was interesting because you had protesters come from Tokyo to protest the American occupation in Okinawa. But then you had Okinawan elders and others of the community at the gate, of our motor pool where I was working, looking down at us saying, "Don't listen. We love you. We want you here." So,
Wow.
I'm not pro-military or anything like that. Honestly, I'm not like I don't feel the hatred that I felt towards it in my youth or anything like that. However, I recognize that it's hard to see stuff when you're only looking from the inside looking out. Once you start to get those different perspectives, it paints a different picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. No, that's putting us up on game, man. Interesting stuff about Okinawa. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That was their, that was the political structure within the country. Back then, during the World War II and all that. And wow, yeah, it's like I said, man, I never got to get out there, and it's interesting how things evolve. But yeah, I kind of echo your stance, Morrison. I don't personally, I'm not, I don't get too political into politics and all that stuff. I wouldn't change anything I did, just like you said, man, about yourself. And I went to the military. Everybody has their reasons for what they do, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I wouldn't change it for the world. One thing that I always I got super homesick, man, for some, 18 years old, man. I was stationed out in Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
Or just outside Seattle. It's called Bremerton.
Yeah.
Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. And I was out there for almost 3 years. I had a shorter stint. When I came in, man, it was during the Bill Clinton years, and he was cutting money from defense cuts, right? Taking money away from the military, closing down bases throughout worldwide.
Interesting time.
Yeah. So I was in during that time. And forgot my train of thought there. I forgot what my point was going to be, but yeah, it's I know what I was going to say. When I went in, man, they were offering 2 years, 3 year and 4 year contracts. They don't do that anymore. But I figured, 2 years, it's too short. 4 is too long for me. I'll do 3. I'll right in between. So I got to go in for 3 years, man. It was a great experience, man. Like, I still got friends to this day, that I got to meet and that I still have. But yeah, man. Yeah, that I didn't. So you did 4 years altogether, Morrison?
Yes. I did 3.5. I was kicked out for those reasons I mentioned earlier, just for like breaking curfew and small stuff. So yeah, almost. That's the thing, is like that separation process. I basically went up to the last 4 months of my contract and I got out. It took forever, but I was in Okinawa that time, so I'm not complaining. I had a great run. So that's something I'm in the middle of. And I don't know how much revealing. I mean, I can only be real with my story, and I've only been real with my story, but I'm still trying to get those benefits. I'm trying to get those benefits now. After I've come out of all, I realized like the psychological impact that all that had on me. And I avoided it for a long time, but now I'm trying to get those benefits back because I know what it can do for the different things I'm doing with the youth, the different things I'm doing to create opportunities for others. And I want to be able to use my opportunity with the GI Bill to be able to influence for youth justice reform and different areas like that. The areas that I'm very passionate about. And, I'm out here on social media passionate about a lot of things, but in the area I work in, and the things that I do, I go hard for what I believe in, and I want to make sure that where I'm making an impact, it counts, and that's why I want to be able to get that GI Bill.
Yeah, man, that's a great thing, man. That's a great
Yeah,
thing. Wow, I've never heard of that idea. Wow. That'd be great to kind of, yeah. Well, more power to you doing that area, man, for sure, for sure. It's yeah, I mean, those are great benefits. I got to, um, you know, reap the benefits of the GI Bill, and there's other things for my kids now, and I was able to get, and they when it comes time for college. Yeah, man, they don't have to pay tuition as long as they're here in California at a Cal State or UC,
yeah.
So yeah, that's some good. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, the military was good to me, and I really learned a lot during that time, and it came of age, and when I got out, man, I was ready. And then I was ready to kind of focus in on school, went back to school and all that. But before that, I was kind of just like wandering around, just kind of aimlessly, just kind of, I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do with my life. So,
I
um,
feel it.
you know, yeah, man, some of these comments are funny. No, I was never, I'm not a former gang member, guy. Yeah. So, but Morrison, let's get into music a little bit, man. I wanted to kind of, put your music out, show your music, showcase your music. Well, there's one song I like in particular, man. There's Reason. Um, what was the inspiration for your song and your video Reason?
So it, it's kind of like a theoretic response in many ways. You hear these voices, you hear chitter chatter, third person, and I catch the draft of what people say and what people think and this and that. So I'm not necessarily responding to anybody particularly, but there's different lines, obviously influenced by certain experiences and certain people, even if they're not direct. Because if I'm gonna say something direct, I'm gonna say it direct. I'm not with all the nah. Like I'm gonna come very clear and
Yeah.
concise. However, I wanted to be able to respond and paint the picture of that story. So I mean, there's two songs where I did a song called Paper Planes back in the day that kind of goes through a lot of the earlier, and I think Reason kind of picks up from Paper Planes, and it's like it's okay that here's where I am. I moved to California. I don't smoke marijuana. Da 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 da. Like I'm really just painting the picture honestly for where I'm at, where I've been, and what I'm doing. First verse is talking about just sort of critiquing myself as well as critiquing people's thoughts of me. A lot of that is speaking to myself. When you hear a lot of what sounds like I'm talking to other people, I'm speaking to myself in many ways. And the second verse is really just moving forward with what I'm doing and where I'm going, and that confidence and that swag that hip hop has, and being able
Yeah.
to keep that vibe and that presence. So yeah, just moving in that direction. I feel it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Let's let's see if can we check out
Cue that up.
cue it up Reason. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Morrison Machiavelli, hip hop artist, mentor, entrepreneur, record label owner. We're about to check out one of his videos here, the song Reason, and produced by the way,
By
uh,
Dr. L.
Dr. L, right? Dr. L Beats?
Yep.
Dr. L Beats. Yeah, yeah. So big shout out to Dr. L. So yeah, are we queued up there, Morrison?
Yep. Can you
Let's see
see
if
it? Yeah. It should be up. Let's see.
see if we could screen share.
Play a little clip here. It should be up there. I think I just pulled it up on the screen share.
Let me see here. No, it was you got it on the screen share.
Let me
Nah.
check. Let me check. Okay, it says you're in the show. Let me see screen share. Hold on 1 second. I don't think I got the permissions. Oh, I might need the permissions. I don't think I have
Oh,
permission to screen share. Let's see. No, I can't. I can't screen
no.
share.
Okay, let me try. Let me check one more time. Let me see if I can bring it up on my YouTube here. I'm gonna check one more time. Uh, yeah, because we were having the technical difficulty earlier with YouTube. On so yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, we're not able to bring up the video. Morrison Machiavelli. There's video Reason. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to his, let's talk about your YouTube a little bit. Unfortunately, we can't see it. What is the name of your YouTube channel where everyone could see it?
So yeah, so the name of my YouTube channel, which is my label, is Prosaic, Prosaic, minds.com, MINDS. But if you go to morrisonmachiavelli.com, my website, you can be able to navigate to all the different links. If you're trying to check me out on YouTube, you're trying to check me out on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever, SoundCloud, you can navigate your preferred streaming service as well as your preferred, if you want to check out the music videos on YouTube. We've been putting a lot of work in the latter half of the year to make some real high quality, cool videos. And we got more on the way. You know, I've been editing and directing all of my music videos. I think there's only one music video that I've ever had anybody else shoot and direct. So Dr. L shot most of them. And I directed and produced them as well as edited them. So, you know, all self-made, self-taught, and it's not always going to be like that, but that's what it's been, and I think we've had a good outcome. We're moving in the right direction.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man, no doubt. It's yeah, I can see your evolution, man, as an artist, Morrison. When I look through your catalog and you know the lineage there of your music, man, you know you're doing big things, man, and you know what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to bring up my my Instagram and see if I can. I'm going to screen share that clip of Reason.
Cool.
So let me screen share that because I can bring up my. Let's see if we can.
That should work.
Yeah, let's see if that works here. Let's see. We're gonna do there. We're gonna share. Okay, everybody should be able to see my Instagram now.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. We're gonna play. Here's Reason. Here's a clip I posted on my Instagram page. And
change the script.
There it is.
Run up the Amex, throw out the latex. Now you daddy raising up some kids. Nixie ulterior motives, you running in place and it's fading the focus. I ain't seen no in between, spent high and low like the solstice. Don't do no bragging and boasting on social. We vote on the people that know you. Work with the people that coach you, who ain't want nothing to do with the new you. This ain't the old me they used to. Don't approach fools who wanna waste time. I go to the source, run up the board, why climb up the great ness till they got a chick and she changed the script. She
Very cool, man. Very cool. Where did you shoot most of that video, man?
So we shot some of that video out in the Mojave Desert. We had a location downtown LA, a studio location, and then we had another location in I think it was Buena Park or like somewhere around South Central area. Another studio location. That's where that red room is. I think it's FD Studios. Shout out to them. But yeah, a couple of little cool spots, and then yeah, those are the locations for that.
Okay, yeah, and it's yeah, I like the beat, man. I like the everything about
Dr. L is killing it.
Yeah. So how does your collaboration with Dr. L work? Like, so for example, for Reason, does he come up with a few beats and then you kind of you make the final decision, or what's that? Talk to us about that process.
So we go back and forth. We go back and forth on the final decisions and everything to that nature. We have a catalog, and we've had a catalog. That's why we released like 4 albums in this last year, which are beats that he's been sending me for the last 2 years. So fully finished beats. We may tweak them a little bit. I may tweak them in the mix master because I record, engineer, mix, and some of this stuff is mastered by other engineers, but I master a good portion of the music as well. But yeah, so the difference between that and then some of the other music that's coming up, we still have a few other songs that are stuff that he sent me before he moved to California, because he's in LA now too.
Okay.
The newer stuff is a lot different because now we're producing together, because I'm a producer too. It's not my main hat. I'm a little impatient when it comes to producing, but I do produce, and I like to produce with him. Like we have a couple songs on the way that we're producing together and we're making together, and they're incredible. It's a different direction, and with these projects and with the aesthetics and everything that we've been releasing, really collections of songs more than anything. This has been finding Morrison Machiavelli in many ways, you know, figuring out what that looks like. I knew who Excel was. I found Excel. So now I'm finding Morrison Machiavelli in some ways. And, you know, if you're not an artist, it may be a little foreign to understand the way that we personify characters, but Morrison's different than who I am as me. You know what I mean? As
Mhm.
an individual, as a person when I go home. Of course, you know, I stay true to both sides. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to compromise that for who I am. But I'm figuring out sonically what I want that to sound like and who I want that to be in that way. So yeah, throughout that process, you know, it's what it is.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, man. That's interesting. You know, when it comes down to the process, the behind the scenes stuff, man, and with anything, I think with a book, with a television show, with the way a movie's produced, with a song, a poem, to me, I find that stuff fascinating, man. I really find it fascinating how everything comes together, the inspirations for stuff, you know, the backstories, the influences, you know, how everything comes to fruition, man, and comes together. So with Reason, is this one of the maybe the first, or maybe the first song, or the beginning of that, the next phase? I think you mentioned the you know, what we're seeing visually and everything. Um, is this kind of the beginning stages where we're at of the next in your evolution, Morrison,
Yeah, I mean, what
as
I'll
an
say
artist?
is a lot of these songs, a lot of these singles, they're very unique within the characteristics that they offer, and that's why they're singles. That's not why they're not part of a project.
Mm.
I've got a lot of self-produced stuff. I've got a lot of different things that I've been working on for more extended periods of time, which I'm excited to release and I'm excited to get out. Um, but each of these songs kind of have their own vibe, and I do got a couple more songs. We were actually thinking about putting together another project with a handful of songs that we've now decided to release as singles. Reason was going to be the first one off of that, and I got another joint on the way. I don't know exactly when it's going to be released, but I'll announce that soon. I'll just say here it's called 100, so be on the lookout for 100. And that's a song that I really like. That's a song I love. I'm excited for that one. I actually wanted to release Reason first because I was more excited for 100. I kind of wanted to heat up the surface with Reason and then drop 100 because I feel like 100 is going to make some waves. So if y'all like Reason, I think you're really going to like 100. I got to step outside a little bit more with wordplay, and I was a little more free and loose with that one. So I'm excited for it, you know?
Oh, so we got an exclusive here. Is that what you're saying, Morrison?
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, so I mean, I think I probably teased on it in a few different places, but yeah, definitely exclusive announcement. 100. Yeah, that's coming for sure.
When's
Within
that
the
coming?
next, that's
Oh,
coming
sorry.
within the next. It's coming within the next 2 months. So yeah, at least at the latest within the next 2 months. But we got it on the way. Most definitely, it's finished. I mean, it's completed. So I'm getting a few things in line behind the scenes because I want to make sure people are hearing all this stuff. You know, it's a lot of people just release music, release music, release music. I want to have a very hands-on approach behind the scenes. And then just to, oh yeah, and to answer the question, how much for a feature? It depends. It depends. You know, I mean, if you hit me up now, it's probably less money than it is after I drop 100. You know what I mean? So considerations.
Oh man, I can't wait to see 100, man. That you have the video done, everything's shot, it's a wrap on 100. 100 is ready to be published.
Yeah, so the video we're still plotting out, but the song's done.
Oh,
I'm not sure if we're gonna do a video for it just yet. We might release the audio and then you know, have the people earn the video. But you know, I feel very passionately about this song. I'm very confident about this song, so I feel comfortable releasing it in stages like that. And you know, we're also learning from our fan base. We're learning from our support base, and we're learning from our cipher. Our supporters, our fans, they're the people that we call our cipher, the people in the cipher. So we
yeah.
learn from the cipher consistently with their prosaic minds, and we want to be able to give music to people in the cipher in a way that they like. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean we're just going to unload and give them everything, but we want to be able to keep people engaged and keep people well fed, and you know, also keep people on their toes and ready for more. You know what I mean? So So yeah, so we're figuring out how to execute that exactly, but that song is coming for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that. I know I am. Definitely, man.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait for that one. Can't wait for that one. 2021, man. It's gonna be great. It's already starting off, man, really well. Um, Harry Parker asked, and you kind of mentioned this earlier. Black Thought. Any other major influences as a rapper, as an MC for you?
So again, I'm gonna throw out Muja Messiah because he was a big
Yeah.
influence for me. His wordplay is crazy. Anybody who doesn't know Muja Messiah, check him out. He's a Twin Cities rapper, but he's incredible. He's a worldwide rapper. I'm gonna say that. I don't like the local brand. Andre 3000 was heavily influential.
Oh,
Um,
Outcast.
yeah, Big Crit. MF Doom. I know everybody wants to throw up Doom right now, but you could hear me freestyling about Doom back in 2012.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, he was a huge influence, and I didn't even go back as far as like KMD and all that. I was aware, but MF Doom had such an impact on me because he put me in a position where I had to. I started to question rappers I listened to. You know what I mean? Like before I even question myself, I'd be like, are the rappers that I like really dope? Like I had to question. So, you know, when people say Doom's your rapper's favorite rapper, it's so beyond that for me because Doom made me completely rethink my playlist. They made me rethink those TDK mixtapes I was referencing earlier. You know what I mean? I had to reconsider
TDK.
my life. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No doubt. Yeah, gosh. Yeah, MF Doom, amazing, amazing. So yeah, those are some really big names that you were influenced by, and rightfully so, man. Those guys are super talented. So let's shift gears a little bit, Morrison. And I know, like you said, we've already talked about you wear several hats, man. You're a producer. You're an artist, recording artist. You have your own label. Um, well, let me ask you, what's it like to own your own label, man? It's an independent label,
Yeah. So
right?
going a little bit into the so I mean it's a label, but it's really a collaborative collective of independent artists. So I mean we've been functioning in this way for a long time. And really it's formally right now it's myself, Dr. L Beats, and Iceman 904, formerly J Ice. So we've been doing this for a while. We've been doing this together for a while. I've been really focused on staying on track with having very consistent releases and everything like that. So we've kind of just been oiling the mechanism and building the engine to be able to accommodate those. However, what I've found is I like to wear all the hats and do all this stuff, but it's very time consuming, right? So getting into the entrepreneurial stuff, just opening up those doors.
Yeah,
The label hasn't been a huge focus in regards to staffing or like being able to build it up because it's very simple being an independent artist collective. So what I've actually started working on is what you mentioned earlier, which is Casablanca Connect.
yeah,
So to kind of bridge the introduction for that,
yeah,
I about a year and a half ago, I found that my workload was too heavy. Working as I'll mention in a bit as well, like the work that I do with youth and the justice involvement that I have with music and with teaching the kids. But all of these different things were packed on top of each other and compounded, and I can't handle all that stuff myself. So I've been researching real estate a lot, and I heard about how a lot of different people in real estate utilize virtual assistants. So I learned a little bit more, Philippines, that's the place I should be looking. All right, cool. Let me figure out how am I going to find a virtual assistant from the Philippines. So I laid out a framework. I put in a lot of hard hours online, interviewing a lot of people, discovering different networks in the Philippines, being able to build up practices and different ways of how to structure our operations and our sophisticated systems to be able to identify the different resolutions that I needed, as well as being able to create responses and all these different things. And within that, I had a couple of people reaching out to me asking, can you find me a virtual assistant? And I already started to think about the idea of what it would be like to start an agency, a virtual assistance agency, within entertainment and within the guise of music. That's unheard of. You know, you can't really, you're thinking you're paying somebody $10 to $14 an hour. That's insane. You know, for us, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's reasonable pay for people in America, of course.
Right.
However, for us, it's unrealistic as independent artists. But you're talking about, you need to publish your music, you need to market your music, you got to do social media. This is if you want to be effective, and if you want to be good at doing all this stuff. I mean, you know, you run a podcast, you organize all this stuff. I assume, if not by yourself, if not by yourself, I imagine you don't have a huge team with you. You know what I mean? So like, it's a lot of stuff. Wear a lot of hats. So I found my virtual assistant, and I ended up helping a friend find a virtual assistant and starting to sculpt what is now Casablanca Connect, which is the agency. So CasablancaConnect.com. We have started to offer our services. We haven't had a hard launch within like marketing our services yet. We've been working exclusively within our networks. The services are completely available. However, we're not ready to take on 100 customers. You know, we're ready to take on a very select few customers. So we are selective at this time as well, because with all of our clients, we want to make sure that we are accountable for success and that we're doing everything we can to make sure that our clients are achieving success. So with that, we need to make sure that we have the appropriate client care professionals, which right now is myself and two of my associates who I have confidence in to be able to help with these processes. We do specialize in music, and we will continue to advance our specialization in music, but we also cater to other areas that are more broad and easier to train just on levels of regularities, real estate, influencers, people having web series, podcasts, different things like that. There's a lot of different things, executives, a lot of different places in life where this is effective. Religious leaders, institutional leaders. Virtual assistance is manageable, it's affordable for most people, and we have packages that help to accommodate everybody on different levels. So so if you're in any of those areas and you may be considering these services, we do have a survey you could take on CasablancaConnect.com, or you can hit me up on any social media platforms or anywhere and ask about this survey. And we basically tell you, we basically ask you questions that help you identify how much time you're spending on different areas, and just give you an idea of what you may utilize a virtual assistant for. It also helps us capture data, just to have an idea of what people need our services for, so we can be able to continue to adapt for the needs of our potential clients and our clients. So you know, it takes like 10 minutes to fill out the survey. If you're considering the service, you fill it out, you figure out, we'll send you an email back basically letting you know how much time you spend on those services based on our results. And if you want to move forward from there, you have the option to. If not, we're still here. I like to consult and work with people, especially artists, and pass on all of the knowledge and advice that I have within my limitations of time, obviously, for free, and just to be able to connect and sharpen my own sword. And you know, it's a passion of mine. So I know I'm kind of going long here, but I wanted to tie this back together and bring it all full circle. I mentioned earlier the youth justice work I do, and I'm gonna kind of bring it back to the beginning. I volunteered with an organization called Save the Kids. It is a prison abolitionist group, and I am a strong prison abolitionist. But it's a prison abolitionist group, and we ran a youth organization within the Hennepin County Juvenile Detention Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, downtown. So I was working with this program for about 4 years. About 2 of those years, I was lead organizer with this youth program. So it was a volunteer program, went in there every Saturday, worked with the youth. It was beautiful. So when I came here, I already had a little bit of experience with that. I got hooked up with another organization. I thought I was volunteering. It ended up being a paid position. And now I work inside of Los Angeles County juvenile correctional facilities, the halls and camps here, everything from the halls and camps to the schools and community centers, from Lenox Park to Barry J. Nydorf, Central, Kilpatrick, all over. Yeah. I mean, I worked in all these facilities. So I work with the youth one-on-one. I go in there, I develop relationships to be able to help them with their music, help them with their writing, record them. We bring physical equipment into the institution so we can record them and help them refine their music. And then I've been working with this organization. We've been creating the Community Arts Program Outreach, CAPO. And this is our program on the outside now. So now when they get out, or even if they've never been in, you don't have to go into the system to utilize this program. But for our youth, we offer free studio time. I will pick you up from your home. We offer transportation in any way that we are able to. We were providing Uber and Lyft before. We're getting a bus soon, and we're building our own studio. We've been working out of some different studios. Shout out to DJ Word. He's a friend of mine. If he checks out this podcast, he's been helping us by letting us use his studio, and it's been incredibly helpful, allowing us to use that space while he's in Switzerland working, or sorry, while he's in Germany working. But so on the outside, we got this program with the youth where we offer free studio time and transportation. So I've been working one-on-one with a lot of youth. Man, I learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? So any wisdom that I may be able to pass on to the youth, I hope that, I obviously hope for that, but mostly just being able to connect on a very human level, and within that experience, and just being able to offer this safe haven, this place where people can go express themselves in ways that they may not be able to express themselves in other spaces. I think it's very important. And it also creates a certain level of therapy, or an opportunity for therapy that people don't always have within their home. Music is such a deep, it's such a deep medium, man. And yeah, it's an amazing opportunity, and I put my heart and soul into it. And I'm really proud of the youth that I work with. I work with some very amazing artists. I share them all the time on my Instagram. So if you follow me, you'll see them. And it's incredible. I mean, I've had a chance to work with over 300 kids in the last year and a half. And I give them all my Instagram. They all hit me up on the, not all, but many of them hit me up on the outside. And it's a blessing. It's an amazing opportunity. And I'm so grateful that they hit me up and they feel compelled to follow up with me and work with me. Regardless if the studio time is free or not, the fact that they're spilling out their heart, their emotions, and just their expression it means a lot. It's very important to me.
Wow. Yeah, wow, that's awesome, man. Amazing. Where do you find the time to do all this, Morrison, man?
I got a virtual assistant.
Right?
It helps. But yeah, I mean, to be able to do the music effectively, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that they don't see. And even with my job, like I'm an independent contractor, so I gotta do all the invoicing, receipts, and be able to do bookkeeping and all these different aspects. And being the program coordinator, unofficial title. I'm saying program coordinator because that's essentially what I'm functionally doing with Capo. And I assume that that's one of the roles that I'll fall into with Capo once we get the actual physical location. I'm also developing a lot of the spreadsheets and layouts and reports and the different things that we need to provide just within the hours that we're providing to the youth, and the different things that help us to be able to keep this free and get the funding that we need as a nonprofit. And all of that stuff takes a lot of time. And it's amazing how much I found that my virtual assistant helps me, and she's phenomenal. Shout out Rhea. Shout out my virtual assistant. If you see this, much love. You are amazing. I'm not always the easiest boss, but amazing.
Unbelievable, man. That's awesome, man. No, so you founded the oh my goodness, it just slipped my mind. Did you found Capo, or is that something else that you were working
I didn't found Capo, but I put in the work to make Capo what it is. I'm the only person working with Capo on the ground right now. And part of that is because COVID, but at the end of the day, it's really because I'm one of the only teachers, if not the only teacher, who brings my relationships with the youth outside of the juvenile detention centers. And I respect everybody's reason for not doing that. But for me, it's very important. For me to be able to keep that open line of communication. I know other people do as well, but I mean, this is a big part of my life. And even 20 years, 30 years down the road, hopefully we don't have youth justice facilities like this, but this is still going to be something that I'm very passionate about and that I'm pushing forward about and always trying to improve. And that's helping to create opportunities for our youth is super important. Super important.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. But you did found Casablanca Collect, right?
Yes, Connect. Yes, exactly. We incorporated in November. So it's a new corporation, it's a new company. I'm super grateful to have the team that I have, and the associates that I have, and being able to move forward. We are very early in our development stages publicly, but this has been a long time coming. I've been developing these processes and practices and everything over the last year and a half. You know, just within the idea of Casablanca Connect. Beyond that, I've been developing my skill sets, especially within music, for like 13 years. I've always taken the business aspect of it seriously, even if I wasn't going for, you know, the main stage, like the the highlights, the big lights. You know what I mean? Back in the day, I was always very serious about the business, and I've always been trying to learn as much as I can and practice as much as I can, as well as I can. So anything I could pass on and anything that I could push into Casablanca Connect, I think it's going to be effective. And you know, shouts to all the people who have helped to make this possible in the Philippines, because the virtual assistants that we have, the creative content specialists, that's what we call our virtual assistants, because they are a different breed of virtual assistants. The way that we train people, and the way that the standards that we hold, the accountability, and just the skill sets within our selection process. I've met some very incredible talent and some very skilled, sophisticated professionals, contractor professionals that I have the honor of working with, and that moving forward will have the honor of working with. I'm excited.
That's amazing, man. Wow. So do you have a? I mean, I don't want to say a preference, but I imagine both. You know, everything that you're doing is very rewarding for you. Is there something that? Well, I guess I mean, for lack of a better question, or presenting it better, do you have a favorite thing that you do, or do you love everything equally?
I mean, everything kind of works its way around. So I will say, like, my greatest passion is songwriting. So when I write some stuff that really hits me to the point where I want to rap it over and over. Let's say I got a beat playing, right? And I write this stuff. Like, I wrote something the other day that was like this. And I want to rap. I want to keep rapping it. I want to rap this verse over and over and over, because I want to hear it. Like, I want to hear myself rapping it. That's the greatest feeling to me. When I reach those levels and I get that type of music, it's an incredible feeling. And that's the reason why I think it's so important with the youth to be able to see that feeling and cultivate that feeling. And, you know, I feel that when the youth feel that as well. And, you know, when I'm in that chair as a mentor, and also as an engineer, I may be behind the boards, like a little serious or focused on this or that, but I light up when I see that feeling happen within the youth. I light up. And I've always had the entrepreneurial itch. So until I reach 8 figures or, you know, 6 figures, even with this company, I'm not going to sit here and call myself an entrepreneur. I think it's very interesting people do that, but I have the entrepreneurial itch, and that's a whole different thing to feed. So my thing is, like I said before, early on in the interview, I like to go off in a lot of different directions, because sometimes I want to do one thing, sometimes I want to do another thing. And for a lot of people, that's a weakness. But I've now started to find a way where I can be able to incorporate all these different things together. Some days I don't want to do something. You know, I don't want to do this area, this certain thing, this thing, you know what I'm saying? So I can go in a different direction. So it just depends on the time. It's just like my preference of music. I don't necessarily have a lot of favorites. It just depends on what day you catch me, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, man. No, yeah, definitely, Morrison. I applaud you for everything that you do, man. Yeah, going back to the music, where have Z Boxing News has a question. Where have you performed? And do you have a favorite venue? And also, is there a venue that's on your bucket list?
So I was just getting back into performing when COVID hit. I actually was going to start my tour with South by Southwest. And I did South by Southwest a few years ago as well. And I had a few other places lined up. However, I hadn't really performed a lot in Los Angeles. I mean, I've done some stuff up in the Bay. I had an amazing show up there with a jazz band. My favorite place to perform was First Ave, because of my first show was at First Ave. The first show I ever seen was at First Ave. The first concert I ever went to
Really?
Yeah, so for me it was that plus the impact that it's had not only on the world, on the scene, but on the world, you know, with Prince, with Purple Rain being shot
Oh,
at First Ave and all of that.
jeez.
Like,
That's
man,
awesome, man.
yeah, First Ave is incredible. So that's, you know, that's the place that I'm most happy that I have performed at. And there's some other venues that really stand out to me as well, but most of them are like, it's youth stuff. I mean, place I want to perform is Red Rocks. Like, I would love to perform there someday. You know, it's amazing. So that would be incredible. And I don't even know if it would be that great, like actually being on stage and performing there. I feel like it would, if it's not set up appropriately, if you don't have the right monitors, it could be horrible. You know, as far as like being a performer up on that stage, if you can't hear yourself, it's a big stage. And that's the challenge with larger stages, but that's just logistics. The actual show that you could put on at Red Rocks and the audience that you could house and just the aesthetics of the space. Oh man. But in LA, I want to perform at the Roxy. I want to perform at these legendary rock and roll venues that I've heard so much about.
Whiskey.
Yeah, the Whiskey Go Go. Yeah, all the
Whiskey
stuff
go.
like that. Yeah, if I could, I need to get on my rock star stuff and be able to really get those spots. But if I do those, I'm gonna do them right. I'm not the type of person who wants to do a show and have, you know, 20 people in a huge space. So, you know, there's different spaces for different places and different times. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We're gonna work up and we're gonna build up those spaces, and you know, we'll be in Red Rock soon.
Where's Red Rocks, man? I'm sorry.
That's so as long as I got the name right, that's Colorado. It's a huge outdoor stadium in Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, gigantic.
Yeah, man. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll be seeing you at Coachella in the future, and
Yeah,
these big festivals, man.
I'd love
Yeah,
to get on the festival game for sure.
for sure, man. No doubt. Morrison, we've had a request, man. I'm gonna put you on the spot here, even more. You bust a little freestyle for us, or maybe bust a bar or two for us here.
Let's see. So I'll bust out some bars. I'm not just because I've been going in about so much stuff. I don't really, you know, I've been in a very linear space. I'm not gonna freestyle off top. And most of the time when you see people on the internet, they're not freestyling.
They
But let
say
me
they
bust
are.
out some bars. Let me think.
Sarah Mendoza would like you to sing to her, baby.
Let's see.
uh,
Yeah, I can see it from a mile high. Why I treat love like a sci-fi. Try what it does. I fly, feelings like a tribe. Swept off a fish, keep 9 lives. See, time tries to play tricks and lies. She get inside and it's a different vibe. Switch aside on what you seen. This don't hit IG, cause no, that ain't me. Can't see the scene out a movie clip, cause Hollywood ain't never do this here. Want to talk about space and sign. Be certain I can never stay in line for no casting calls. Don't align with fake. Being padded walls before that's okay. Uh, let's see what else. I
nice.
could sprinkle a little bit more on there. I could actually do a little bit from that reason joint. Let me see.
Yeah,
People,
yeah.
yeah, people that tell you they love you then sell you when struggling, ain't that some other shit? She ain't calling you back, could have offered that. Want to run us some help from the government. Gonna talk all that buddiness like they got a chicken. She changed the script. She roll up the latex, throw out the Amex. Now your daddy's raising up some kids. Nixie ulterior motives, running in place and they fading the focus. I ain't seen no in-betweens, been high and low like the solstice. Don't do no bragging and boasting on social. We both are the people that know you. Work with the people that coach you who ain't want nothing to do with the new you. This ain't the Omi they used to. Don't approach fools who want to waste time. I go to the source, run up the board. Why climb up the grapevine? Don't need your money, I make mine. Music take me over state lines. When we drop like the bass line, we gonna make it crazy like Dateline. Oh.
Nice. I like it, man. Love it, man. Love it. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. What is the greatest compliment you've ever received in regards to your music?
So as of recent, I've had a couple people reach out to me and just tell me how much the music has impacted them. You know, it's really impactful when people reach out, and I know that they may have only been following me for a couple months, and they're quoting the lyrics, they're pulling stuff out, and they're telling me how much it's impacted them, and they're telling me their own stories, they're sharing it, and they're able to articulate their own experiences and align them to some of the stuff that I felt, some of the stuff that I've been through, and that's been very important to me. That's helped to motivate me and inspire me to get to the next level and be able to dig deeper and pull more stuff out. And as I said, I'm always motivated to keep moving forward with the music. It's just different times, different spaces, different places. As I said, so like for example, I haven't been doing live shows and stuff like that. I'm not even rapping that much. I've been writing. I've been very in my head. So even rapping right now and articulating these verses, it's not something, you know, like if I'm an athlete right now and this is the Olympics, I'm not ready for being on stage yet. I mean, I can get ready pretty quick. I can condition for that. But at the end of the day, it's like I've been in my head. So I'm hearing everything in my head. But I'm about to get in the studio and start recording some new stuff over the next few weeks. And as I said, we got some new stuff on the way as well. So covering all the bases, you know?
Oh, no doubt. I can't wait to see where you go, man. I want to, you know, I'm going to continue to follow you and check out and track your career, man, and everything that you're doing. Before we leave, man, before we wrap things up here, I kind of want to ask you where do you see yourself, you know, 3 to 5 years from now, man?
3 to 5 years, I see myself being in a position where I can move freely on all continents. And that's really something that I need to be able to have as an artist. I see myself establishing Casablanca Connect and moving in some other directions with entrepreneurship and being able to offer opportunities to young musicians and entrepreneurs. I see myself working with some of the artists that I'm working with. Now, I don't know which artists they will be. You know, I have a good idea of some artists that are working really hard to keep growing. But hopefully I'll be able to work with some of them for the long haul and be able to use their experience to inspire other kids coming up and continue to do the youth justice work that I do in that field. As well, I hope that I can help other people with my team get up to new levels and do things that they want to do and have that that freedom as well within the finances to be able to explore freely. And I mean, in the next 5 to 10 years, I want to be able to have kids and do all that. And that's not going to slow down my efforts. That's not going to slow down what I'm doing with the music. It might slow down a little bit of the rock star lifestyle that I live, you know, all jokes aside. I'm going to be in the best physical fitness and I'm going to be making the best music of my life in the next 3 to 5 years. So overall, I'm very hopeful for that. And, you know, hopefully I'm reaching 7 figures the next 5 to 10. So, yeah.
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. I can't wait to see where. No, hey, there's no doubt in my mind. It's just a matter of time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then that's the thing is like money doesn't dictate it. And that's the only reason why I say hopeful, because I'm very, very intentional and everything will come when it comes. I'll guarantee you I will reach 7 figures easy. But it's all about timing because I'm not gonna cut my time short. I'm not gonna compromise the things I love for money. It's just not worth it to me, you know? And as long as I'm reaching the people who I need to reach, and I'm doing what I need to do, all of it's gonna come. And at the end of the day, I know I'm going to have a lot to show for it. I'm going to have, you know, the physical stuff matters as well. I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't. A lot of people will. But that shit matters to me. But at the end of the day, what really matters to me is my time. Time is something you can't buy and you can't waste. So you can waste it, but I'm not going to waste it, you know.
Of course. No, of course, Morrison Machiavelli, man. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate everything that you do. Before we go, man, before we wrap things up, where can and you already mentioned some of where we can find you. Go ahead and tell the good people where they can find you, all your social media, your websites, everything, man.
Yeah, so I'm most active on Instagram, but I'm on all platforms. So I'm posting every single day on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm getting more active with the TikTok now because I know the kids love TikTok. But I'm everywhere. The easiest way to find all of my links is going to morrisonmachiavelli.com. You see my name all up on here, so you can just type that in, morrisonmachiavelli.com. On Instagram, it's Morrison Machiavelli. On the website, you'll easily be able to navigate to all the different social media platforms. You'll be able to go to my Spotify. Please add the songs you like to your playlist on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, any of those platforms. I'm on all platforms. Pandora. Really appreciate the support. You can buy physical albums on the store as well on morrisonmachiavelli.com or on prosaicminds.com, the label. But the easiest way to find all of that is just go to morrisonmachiavelli.com. It's a very simple website, easy to navigate, whether you're on a mobile device or computer. So, you know, make it your second home.
Absolutely. Check it out, guys. Check it out, man. Any shout outs, man, you want to give before we go?
I feel like I don't want to double plug. I plug in a lot of people just naturally throughout the process of just
That's all
talking
good.
and going through it. But I mean, shout out to everybody who supported me. Shout out to my family. Shout out to my mom, my sister, everybody who has held it down so long. I have major love for everybody who's been a part of this process. And I'm so grateful, and I look forward to building with all of you. You know, it makes me emotional just thinking about all the different people who have helped to attribute to where I am today, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's never taken lightly, and it's never forgotten.
No doubt, man. Morrison, I want to thank you once again for coming on, man, and taking the time for being on Profile Pod TV. I look forward to seeing you out there, man, and we got to do this again. You're always welcome back here, and you know, we're here in Southern California area, man. Maybe we can connect in the near future, man.
That's it.
Yeah, definitely, man. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have Morrison Machiavelli out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, now here in Los Angeles. He's doing his thing, he's doing big things, and more to come where he's going. So check him out. You heard the website, you heard the social media. So go check him out, go follow him, go support. The man is an amazing man, and we're really glad to have him here tonight. I want to thank everybody in the comment section. Saul Mercado, thank you so much, man. Yeah, big shout out to you guys. Giants NFC guy, Pie Cruiser, my man. Sarah Mendoza came through. And let's see, I like to shout everyone out. Moises Groove came through. Harry Parker, Z Boxing News. Who else? Yib 102. Thank you so much for coming through tonight. And if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for watching. If you're listening on the audio platforms, thank you for listening in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, Anchor, Stitcher, etc. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Profile Pod TV. You can see the logo there at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Click on that. Click on the subscribe button afterwards, and you're all good to go. You will have guaranteed yourself access to a great podcast here. And like I said, man, we're gonna be doing things. We're evolving here. I'm evolving here at Profile Pod TV. Lots of great stuff coming. I can't say too much right now, but just stay tuned. And Morrison Machiavelli, man, thank you once again, brother, for being here. And man, I'm speechless right now, man, because I'm really impressed, man. You do a lot of stuff really well, and man.
Well, one last thing. So shout to you, DoubleAA. I greatly appreciate you. I want to say shout out to my Z's, shout out to everybody with Zulu Union, all my Z's out there, and shout out to the Cypher. And if you want to join the Cypher, just add your email on my website and join the Cypher. We love you. That's it.
There it is, man. No doubt. Don't forget to follow us on Profile Pod TV at Profile Pod TV _ You can see it there on the ticker. Subscribe here on YouTube. Follow on Twitter. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Leave me a comment. Leave me some feedback, guys. I love getting the feedback. Love getting input from the viewers. Constructive criticism, whatever. It's all good. It's all good, man. So tune in next week. We will be back right here on the same channel, same time. And for Morrison Machiavelli, I'm DoubleAA, saying always to take it easy. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you later.
Hey.